No, no, no. I can't do it like everyone else. I don't get upset about each and everything. I can't do it. I'm too happy. I'm too happy a person to be down for too long about anything. Okay, so don't ask me to be too bummed about what's going on with the Raiders. I'm not. I love them. I'll love them for the rest of my life. And every time they win or lose, I don't care. Raider Bear. Win, lose, or tie. Raider fan till I die. Raiders! Woo! Let's go! Your boy, Asal Tante Oso. Let's go! No, I'm only a little pumped. This is a little pumped. I'm serious. So I'm putting foots in some of these GMs and coaches that are available, putting foots in them. Often imitated, never duplicated. Nah, that fool with no hair that shouts like Ric Flair. Woo! What? Woo! The Raider Bear! Raiders! Oh, the voice is rested and ready. You don't understand. When COVID might have knocked me down, but it for darn sure didn't knock me out, okay? I said it long before I talked to Jesus, and I said, look, man, it doesn't have what it takes to put me down. And God kind of winked at me. True story. All right, let's get to it. Alexa, hush. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the show, Raider Bear Live. I am obligated to ask you first to please consider subscription to Raider Bear Family Page. It's just $5 a month, and you can cancel at any time, but you won't want to when you hear about all the good things that we do with those subscriptions and stars given to the show. We are going to be auctioning some really cool stuff off in the next few days, and you should look forward to that. I have a barbecue spatula thing that has the whole handle is a Raider logo, and then it's got the Raider logo in the metal, the steel, and it's so dope. And then car mats, really, really nice Raider car mats with the logos on it, really cool. What was the other thing I saw? Mama Bear ordered some of it. I ordered some of it. Pretty cool. So I think you guys dig it. Because I had a lot of people asking why I wasn't auctioning. It wasn't no particular reason other than COVID. That stuff's rough, man. I'm still recovering. I am not playing. It's still, stuff just feels out of whack. I don't know. Tradish! Raider Bear Live! First comment, woo! MVP tonight on YouTube goes to... Oh no! He got the gold! Essay Big Dog! So, brother, welcome to the show. Always there for a Raider Bear. And when I was in school and the teacher would ask me for my resume, she would say, give up your resume. And I'd say, man, no, I don't ever give up my essay. Oh, you said resume? Oh, okay. It's an old joke, okay, but it's always funny. At least if someone else delivers it. Hey, I'm honest about things. Second place, silver medal, James and Princetta Walker. What's up, brother? Welcome to the show. I haven't seen you in the medal round in a minute. Good to see you. Hi, love. They're two very cool friends of mine, Raider Nation. I met them in Oakland, and they're just great people. Third place, my bronze medal goes to DPC. I'm all looking around to see if I have a weapon. I don't have anything on the desk. David Pelkaliva. What's up, brother? Mount Rushmore in the house. You look up on Mount Rushmore, there's an extra head, and it belongs to that man, David Pelkaliva. Even if you only won a bronze. Oh! I know, I'm over here talking trash. Hey, you got in front of the champ tonight. You know, Jim Vanderland's over there somewhere, you know, upset. And when he gave respect to S.A. Big Dog, he even wrote out a woof woof. You know, that's pretty cool, Jim. Facebook, numero uno el jefe. Let me just do it first so he knows who won right now. Because we see things eye to eye. Dustin King! DK, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Always there for Raider Bear. One of my favorite dudes. Second place, silver medal, Mike Henderson. That's how I do it if you're like an MMA fighter. I'd go real high on Hendu and then bring it down on your last name. Third place, my bronze medal goes to my fellow political honk. He and I see eye to eye. He and I, Dustin King. Carlos Megana! Ooh. Junior. What's up, brother? Welcome to the show. I would have loved to have met Mr. Carlos Megana, your dad. He must be cool. That's a great name. Always cool when dads are real, insistent about handing their name down. I think that's cool. Honorable mention on YouTube to Jim Vanderlyn and on Facebook to Stephen Shaw. What's up, Stephen? Welcome to the show. Hi to wife. That's so nice. Stephen Shaw's wife says hello. Mark Vargas, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Always Moji and the Raider Bear. Michael Purifoy. Hey, man. Good to see you. You know what? It's been really cool seeing your daughter, you know what I mean? How she's like blossoming and kind of coming out of her shell. She's so cute. She's a cutie. I like her husband, too. He's a good-looking guy. Ramiro Cashflow Castro. You're going to get some good-looking grandbabies. I know that much. Oaktown 17. What's up, man? Raider Nation forever. I love that. Oaktown 17. I was born in Oakland, so I feel you, brother. Troy Gill, what's up, man? Welcome to the show. Raiders forever, sir. That's my guy right there. I like the manners. Good man, Oaktown. Salute Nation. I was almost in first place, but I worked 12 hours today. John the Lion Leon! Always dropping L's, but never taking losses. He just gets one because that made me laugh that much. You know, I swear we're going to talk about Raider football. I do. I swear we are. And now, technically, if you looked at the time, I'm only 6 minutes into the show. It's pretty good for me to be this blabbervacious. Look it up. And, no, don't look it up. But, I'm somewhat putting butts in other people and bombastic tonight. So, moving forward. Bob Stanner. That's my guy right there. No, we are not, Carlos. No, we would pass as twin brothers, I'm telling you. All right, so let's get started. So the head coaching thing, Ben Johnson has already interviewed. Everything went great. He got what you would call the treatment. Now, what does that mean? It just basically means that you bring in a coach. They do it with players too. And they'll say, you know what? It's Friday. Let's meet Friday at noon, okay, at this, at the facility. And then we'll go out to this restaurant and have a lunch and blah, blah, blah. Okay, so they do all that stuff. But here's the problem. If it doesn't go well, or the team is sensing a lack of maturity, let's say, I'm just picking something, then that's where they would say politely at some point, another 11 hour go by, that kind of thing, get the bill slow, have a couple more glasses of wine, and then tell them we'll get back to you and your agent. And then you go back to the facility, he gets in his car and goes back to his hotel room, and you guys go back into the facility to explain how many reasons you felt why you should not make that deal. Okay, now, if it goes the opposite way, and you meet the guy and he's got a great smile and he's just blowing you away, he's taking the salt shaker and the pepper shaker and a napkin and writing up plays on it right in front of you. And he's so good at it, you understand exactly what he's saying. I think Brian Flores has some of that. I don't know, I'm going to be honest with you. The former black coach of the Miami Dolphins, Brian Flores, there's something there with that guy. I have something there with that guy. I don't know what it is, but you know how like detectives say, "Oh, I know he's guilty. That's the one that committed the murder," and they just feel like it's a hunch, and then they find out they're right. That's how I feel about this and Brian Flores. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. But just keep an eye out for Brian Flores and where he lands. Because if he gets a head coaching job somewhere, look out. Because that guy is fire and brimstone. His coaches will run through a wall. I mean, his players will run through a wall for him. And, you know, honestly, he has the number one quality to me that a lot of your young coaches don't have right now, and that's game time adjustments. Being able to go into the halftime, sit down with his players, and in just 20, 25 minutes can look at his guys and say, look, we got to stop getting burned here. And as the safety, you've got to stay back and not drop low, and then we get burned over the top. Okay, now you just have to let that happen, because if they draw the ball or they run sweep right or whatever, come down to help out. But, you know, we'd rather give up a couple yards here and there on their run game than have us gashing us, you know, and putting themselves in the red zone. And so I just think that, I think he would be so good. I just think Brian Flores would be so good. He's going to be good somewhere. Okay, but really, that's all I had to report on Ben Johnson. He had an interview. It went great. I'm not surprised at all. There are many people who talk about the fact that Ben Johnson is a prototype coach. He's one of those guys that knows, let me explain. He's one of those coaches that knows just how much of the rah-rah you put into it and beating on your chest. He knows just enough, you know, guy talk, maybe cusses once in a while or says something that's funny and makes the players crack up. Is he the guy that can write an offense and literally come into the building with an offense and say, this is what we're running? Yes. And so, see, that's huge. That's huge, guys, because he can just basically hire an offensive coordinator if we don't keep the Turners, which I think would be brilliant. I don't think that's a shot at the Turners. I don't think like the Turners should be looked at like they lost out on the job. No. No. If anything, you know, assistant to the head coach, you know, whatever, give him a title and just let him stay in place. I liked what the Turners did in what was a short preview, but more importantly, the Turners have a background in football, mainly the dad, but the son does too. He has the same, you know, philosophy. He was taught by the same guy. So you got to figure a lot of what was in Norv is going to come out of his son. You know what I mean? It's not like a height or a speed thing like Michael Jordan had kids and none of them are as good as him. No, this is different. This is mental stuff. So I think Scott Turner could come right in and work with that offense and his head coach and make it happen, Captain. Well, Michael, okay, I did kind of just cover that. I'm sorry, I didn't see your question before I started saying all that. I wouldn't mind the Turners coming back. I really wouldn't. But at the same time, you've heard the argument for... I forgot his name already, but the former assistant with the Kansas City Chiefs that went over to Washington, he's being brought up again. I'm lukewarm on him. I don't know how much of what he does is really Andy Reid's thing, you know, but we'll see. I'll give you a little bit more on that, Michael Purifoy. What I did my homework on mainly today was some of the moves the Raiders have done and the GMs, who's out there, who's available, who's really looking, who's hot. I got kind of a feel on that. And then I have a little bit more of a feel on one of the head coaches that we're talking to. And so I'm going to elaborate on that too in just a second. Rude Boy Raider, what's up? Welcome to the show. 305 Miami in the house. Curtis Rourke, the quarterback from Indiana U. Is he athletic enough, though, Mark Vargas? You know what I mean? Not to crush on your thing, but is he athletic enough? Hi, Corinna Trello. And stars contributed to the show. Get this. So if you enjoy the show, please consider that. Also, subscribe on YouTube and click that like button if you would. It helps me with the algorithm, and you get to see more of the Bear. And the Raider fans get to see more of the Bear. Carlos Megana, I'm having a fantastic day. I hope you're talking to me. Anna Diaz-Rinca! Hi, Anna, my first supporter ever. That's right, ever. That gets you perks, you know. Her son lost a jersey. I can't remember what the exact circumstances were, and I asked her what it was, and she told me, and I just got one and sent it to her. I love people like that. Hi, Tommy. What's up, buddy? Finishing an assignment. Please don't forget that the prayer request I told you about with Val. Okay, everyone, if you would take a moment, we're going to just lower our heads for our good friend Jim Vanderlyn because he's going through some tough stuff right now. And we don't need to go and elaborate or anything. We just want to all give a little shout out to Jim Vanderlyn, do a little pray with God just for him. Here we go. Right on. All right, Jim, get better, buddy. I know you're, in the right frame of mind, and that's what's really important. So you'll get there. Carlos, that doesn't matter. Steven! I might have to send you something else, Steven. You and Corinna always go so good to the show. Mark Vargas, 6'5", 230 pounds. Okay. Now he sounds, that's solid. To be 230 at 6'5", that's a solid dude, Mark Vargas. You know what I mean? I didn't know he had that kind of measurables. So that's interesting. All right, so back to the head coach question just for a moment. So Ben Johnson's looking like the front runner, but here's the issue. Pete Carroll, who we know has a Super Bowl win on his resume, was a part of the Legion of Doom, and is looking for a job now. And that guy wins. Wherever Pete Carroll goes, they win. Now, Pete Carroll didn't start that way. He started out as kind of an embarrassment. Then he started to do well at college. Then when he went into the pros, he was terrible. He went back to college, won more championships in college, and then realized, hey, you know what? I'm more professional than ever before. I can go to the NFL and do this. And then he came to the NFL and did that. So, when you got a guy like Pete Carroll's name out there and, he's, looking to get a job, I realize a lot of people are looking at me right now and don't want Pete Carroll. But I'm putting butts in you because you got to remember. This means remember for some reason. That the guy has not only started not very good, but didn't quit, came back and won at the college level and at the pro level and pretty dominantly. And then the player personnel general manager for that team, I'm going to be talking to you about that guy in a minute, who used to be with the Seattle Seahawks. So we're going to talk about that guy in a minute, too. But if you do get Pete Carroll, then you could easily sign this general manager, and you'd have a cohesive package right from day one. And I don't know why I'm saying this, but I just feel like because of Pete Carroll's age and Norv Turner's age, they could look at each other and coexist and just say, you know what, we're going to be cool. And, I like how you run this. Can we add this? They're gonna look at philosophy. Because I know Norv Turner. I mean, I'm telling you, you very rarely hear so many coaches and players speak so glowingly of a guy who Norv Turner at this point doesn't even have to walk or stand up. He can just stand there or sit there and go, okay, you do this, you do this. And then the quarterback feels smarter and the play runs smoother. And you know what I mean? He has that thing. Obviously, it's a lot of experience, but I think it's a little bit more than that. Watching the Bear Show while league bowling. Nice. Wow. Okay, Bob, I want updates at strikes. We will celebrate appropriately. You're welcome, Jim. No problem at all. Anna Diaz said, Pete Carroll wants to get back into the NFL. I wouldn't mind having him as a head coach. Honestly, Anna, the more I really sit on it and think about it, I like it. Now, here's the reason why I'm bringing it up, because there's other people that I've interviewed too. I'm not bringing them up. I'm bringing up Ben Johnson because I think that's legit. I think that's the front runner. And the idea that a lot of people have that it's because Tommy Boy and him are kind of close, you're right. You know what I mean? But Tommy Boy, when he says this guy's my friend, he means he knows him. You know what I mean? He's not really his friend. Not really. But have they sat down, shook hands, smiled at each other like we do with our friends at work, have a cup of coffee, talk football, yes, that's happened. And he likes Ben Johnson a lot. So that combination of things and Mark Davis basically saying, go, Tom, and, make it happen. You got to figure it's going to happen. So if it doesn't, the reason I brought up the Pete Carroll thing is because Pete Carroll was asked for day 2 of the interview to stay in town, where I'm not going to say any names. I don't think that's professional. There was another coach that, like, in midair turned around and went back. I don't know what that means. Maybe he's just someone the Raiders did their homework and just said, no, we're not, interested in how you coach. I don't know. But it's got to be something like that. Whoa, my mic just went out. Not to you guys, but in my ears, and I hate that. Helps me, like, control my volume, which is not really anything possible. Come on, you. Yep, no. Okay, just making sure I turn it off. Age is just a number. You're only as old as you feel. Remember, 70 is the new 50. Anna, not only do I endorse that, I'll just say this. Pete Carroll's a winner, though. He's a winner. We already know this. You know what I mean? So he's going to come right into the Raiders and be like, hey, see, oh, wait, where's my ring? See this? Championships. If you want to be down with this, Marshawn Lynch will come in the door and say, hey, you want to get down with, with titles and championships, you got to talk to Pete Carroll. That's the guy right there. And so, I don't know. I don't know. But I'm just as confident with Ben Johnson. He is, don't let his size bother you. I've had people say he's like a small guy. That has nothing to do with it. He's bigger than his height, especially his coaching. His players, are play hard for him and respect him. So, and that's the most important thing, other than me still fidget spinnering with my microphone. Okay, there we go. I sure hope the next head coach and GM work out this time. I'm tired of Davis raising ticket prices every year because he keeps firing everyone. Well, Michael Purefoy, I like that topic. Now let's jump on that. The reason we know he can't do that is because it would be an embarrassment to the franchise in another way yet again. You see, you got to understand, he brought in John. He got famously fired and exposed in emails and all this other stuff, and Mark Davis still didn't want to let him out, fire him. And so, so the general manager had to send out. General manager, listen to me. Roger Goodell. Excuse me, Roger Goodell has to, leak more emails allegedly. We all know he did. I mean, who else was gonna do it? There wasn't somebody suddenly deciding, you know what? I hate Gruden so much, I'm going to start this evil plan. That was stupid, man. I mean, did you really think anyone would think that anyone other than you did it? I mean, it only makes sense that would be Roger Goodell. Who else did it then, Roger? We'll wait. It's not going to affect any lawsuit or anything. Except, it smears his credibility and makes him look like a jackwagon and a racist. And his own beloved fan base had to dump on him, put foots in him. We all know why. We don't have to go over it again. Doc Raider, what's up, man? Welcome to the show. Good to see you. The coach has to be someone that the team will respect, not what Shady Brady wants. Don't push that Patriot BS on us again. Anna, we're not out of the woods on that yet. There are executive coaches that worked with the Patriots that Tom wouldn't mind giving a job and look past that they don't have a name because he knows them personally. So he can, and there is some validity to that. He may, pick, Michael Ohrenbacher, and none of us know who he is, and he only coached at St. Prairie's Academy and the Patriots. And so, we can still put foots in him, but he might be a good coach because Tom does know how to work the blue board. And for those of you who don't know, most of you probably don't know because you would have had to have watched that Tom Against Time or whatever, and it was like 10 episodes or some ridiculous stuff. But I had heard that there was a particular episode where he said something interesting, so I went into it. I found the episode. I fast-forwarded until I saw what he was doing. And even when he was a player, even when he wasn't at the facility, he had a tablet breaking down video of plays and the names of those plays so that he could memorize them and know where this worked and where did this worked and which player was on the field at that time and then just like a Terminator. And I you can't help but be impressed by that. He may be a jackwagon. I can't stand the guy. He looks like a walking old Ken doll. He does. But what What I'm hoping, though, is that we extract the only positive thing about that human moron, and that is that he does know the game, the ins and outs of the game, but especially at the position that we need it known the most, quarterback. So say we get a Cam Ward, guess what he's going to do? He's going to say, Cam, this is how I won so many Super Bowls. It wasn't Belichick, it wasn't even me. It was the system. We always had a guy open on every play. If it was the deep guy, you throw it. Doesn't matter if you feel like it. If it's there, you throw it. Attack. If it's the dump off on a screen pass or a slant, and that's all they've given you, then you accept that. Get a 4-yard pass that he turns into 2 more yards, right? Now you've got 6 yards. Now it's, 3rd and 4, or 2nd and 4, excuse me. Very manageable 2nd and 4. Why? Because when it's only 2nd and 4 yards, it expands the amount of plays you have in your playbook that you can use to attack with. Whereas if it's 2nd and 26 or 2nd and 18, well, now they know you've got to throw the ball. Because if you run the ball and you get 3 yards, now it's 3rd and 19. And you think you're going to get that when you obviously now must pass? No. You see what I mean? You got to keep taking what they give you, but get creative. Maybe you even throw a slant and do a little flea flicker underneath it. I don't know. Someone did that last week. I think it might have been the Eagles. I think it might have been Tommy's Eagles. Saquon Barkley is insane. Tommy, he's insane. All right. The coach has to be someone the team will respect. I read that already. Oh, good job, Tommy, finishing your schoolwork. I appreciate that. Let's see. My son was telling me that Bill Foley, the owner of the Vegas Golden Knights, may be in negotiations to buy a piece of the Raiders. And honestly, I've stopped reporting about that kind of stuff. So if you're going to report it, I absolutely appreciate it. You should definitely get with me. If you want to go on Raider Bear family page and just throughout the day, periodically, you can just pop in, do like a 10-minute segment just like they do on the news, except you wouldn't have anyone in front of you or before or after you. It would just be you doing 10, 15-minute spots. And you can say, hey, just recently we heard reported, blah, 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 blah. And that's it. So if you ever want to do that, because I know you already have another show you're doing, and it's great. But if you ever want to do short segments like that on Raider Bear family page, let me know. Letting Brady in the house was the smartest thing Mark Davis ever did. Dustin King, I'm not going to go that far yet because I don't know if Brady's going to pay off for us. I don't know. A guy can look like he has all the intangibles and still fart and fall on his face in an elevator. It's just a fact. I don't know. It just came to me. Just then. Armando Medrano, what's up, man? Welcome to the show. Yeah, Carlos, that's all we got right now. All we can do is hope. But what I was going at when I was ripping on John Gruden is you got rid of John Gruden, then you got in another coach, got rid of him, then you brought in AP or promoted him, and now you got rid of him. So that's effectively 3 coaches that you fired inside of a handful of years. 3, 4 years. Separating it all, that's not good, and it makes us look foolish. Now there are Raider fans that'll hear me say that and think, well, what difference does it make if we look foolish? Well, okay, here's the difference. Now when guys are coming out of school or they go into free agency, why would they want to play for the Raiders? Guys, you have to understand, we're on the count at 20 plus years since we've made it up into the playoffs. 20 years. I think it's 22 to be exact. Now, let's get something straight. See that? Never comes off. It's not ink. So no matter what you hear me say, don't get it twisted. I am always a Raider fan. But it's been 22 years. And I don't care who's been in charge. Whether it was Mark Davis, Al, whoever, Moses. You fire them. Or get out of the way. Or learn how to hire better people. Or hire people to show you how to pick better people. But he's got to do something. Armando Gonzalez! Appreciate the love on the stars, brother. Let me see. Cool, I go live at times for the updates, news from our local station. Yes. Oh, whoops. Yes. You should plug that, Anna. Just plug that. What time are you on? What site do you do it on? You should plug all that stuff. You know, Gil Moody, I got your message and I thought of the best, loving, thoughtful way that I could respond to it for the long-term friends that we have always been. Shut up! Okay, just shut up. Okay, yeah, my season sucked again and yours was fantastic. So what?
Bye, Gil.
No, you knock that off, woman. He's the enemy.
He's my friend.
No,
He's my frenemy.
he's not allowed to be your friend while they're in the playoffs.
He's my frenemy.
Go do your makeup or something. Go do girl stuff. Shut up, Gil. It is frustrating, Carlos, but I'm just going to say this. I think the more we get away from the old things, the sooner we'll do better. I love the old Raiders. I've been with the Raiders since I was 7 years old, okay? I love the Raiders. I can go back in time and talk to you about Matuzak and all the great players and Tatum and just on and on and on. I get it. Fast Willie Brown is like a god to me, God rest his soul. But, guys, it's been a long time since Bo Jackson got around that corner and went 90 yards twice against the Bengals. It's been a long time. So, see, to me now, you do not just shake up the roster. You do not just get another coach. You have to just break down everything. I don't want Mark Davis making a decision about anything. Do you see? No. Okay, no. Gil Moody, no. Just because you now want to say, oh, I hope you're feeling better, brother. No, that brings no sympathy between you and I. Do you understand me? Damn it. Whoa, earmuffs, Tommy. Tommy, I need a picture of you with the medallion on. I want to see it. If you haven't sent me one already, I want you to have Bobby take a picture of you wearing my medallion. I want to be able to show it to everyone in Raider Nation, our young Raider fan. I know you're an Eagles fan, but you know, that's okay. You're just young and confused. You'll learn as you get older. It's not just about winning. Okay, it's not just about winning. Just try to imagine being a fan of your Eagles in 10 years from now when they're hot garbage and you don't recognize a single player or the coach and you want everyone fired because you haven't won a game in 20 years. Oh, I'd cry on camera if I did, but I can't. I'm in too good a mood. No. You don't have to shut up, Gil Moody. Damn it. You know I love you, man. But shut up. I don't know. I'll make one statement about your Chiefs, and then I'm going to move on. They win a lot of games. There you go. I don't know, Gil. What do you think about R8RBEAR? His name is thrown around as a potential offensive coordinator. And the Raiders have talked about him for years, even back when he was first thinking about leaving KC, and then they gave him a new deal, and he stayed. And then he didn't get a new deal. We weren't interested in one at that time, and then he went to Washington. And then I felt like he kind of petered out in Washington. But then again, isn't Washington where players are going to die right now? Now, no, not with Jaden Daniels there now. Okay, but that's a good point. Now, is R8RBEAR still with Washington, and is he part of the architect of Jaden Daniels? Because if that's a yes, then that's fantastic. Because that shows that he can use the system that he brought with him from Kansas City, whether it's Andy Reid's or not, I don't care. There's even people that have whispered that it was his system that Andy Reid fell in love with, but I don't know. And so I don't sit on either answer. But if he then teaches that and they start winning, I mean, I wouldn't mind giving that guy a job. If he was a part of what's happening with dude in Washington, but I don't know if it is. My fashion designer, what's up, brother? Jesse Parker. What's up, JP? Mr. Moody, if the Dirty Chiefs get lucky and make it to the Super Bowl, my Eagles are going to put butts in them. They have nothing for super easy on. Tommy, tell him, boy. Okay? That was right. You said it nicely with no foul language. That was well done. Let's see. Yeah, I would agree, Gil Moody. I'll let them know, Jim, that you said what's up. I'd rather have an old Pete Carroll because he has experience. Troy Gill, I don't know if I can argue with that, because if you really think about it, Troy Gill, the number one thing I like about Pete Carroll, not just the fact that he's older and he has a lot of experience, but that he went through a losing and a struggling and then fought back, created a winner, came into the NFL, fought back, created a winner, and won a Super Bowl. And then had a pretty competitive team even after the Super Bowl and the dismantling of the team. They were still pretty good. And the soft rebuild that they did with Metcalf and all these other guys, not bad. Not bad. I thought it was pretty good. So, Pete Carroll to me is a serious interest. And Troy Gill, just the last point, Pete Carroll got past the initial interview day. Sometimes the interview can turn into 3 days. I know a lot of you may not know that, but it's quiet. They act like they come in for 1 day, but they don't. It's usually for 2 or 3 days. They stay in the hotel. They get up the next morning. They have breakfast. Now, why is that? Here's the God's honest truth. Everyone pay attention. Remember, you're getting this on Raider Bear Live, okay? Make sure you don't miss your boy, okay? There's a lot of shows out there right now. The reason why they do that is because they want to see if they can get a comfortable rapport. They want it to feel for 2 of the 3 days like they've already hired him, and now we're just kind of putting you through your paces to see if you are what we believe is the appearance and the frame and the way you carry yourself as a head coach. Does that make sense? So the initial meet and greet, let's say it's on a Friday, okay? When you meet him on Friday, you're just sizing him up, shaking his hand. Does he smile? Does he walk, tall? Is he well dressed? That kind of thing. Walking tall just meaning with confidence, shoulders back, chest out, chin up. Okay, now if he passes that, now you want him to come back the next day, have breakfast, you pick a place, you have breakfast together, you talk to his people, he talks to your people, and then you talk about philosophy, offense, defense, and they have to try to get a feel for whether or not they can even understand what he's teaching. Because most owners, and GMs, they're cocky. They think they went to MIT and whatever school, so they must be so intelligent. When we all have to remember, never feel inferior to someone who has a college degree and you do not. Never feel inferior to that. Remember, there are many men who become doctors, and they can't change a diaper, they can't feed a dog, they don't know how to mow a lawn. They can't change a part on a car. I could go on and on. So what that you have a degree in whatever? While you're doing brain surgery, I'll be making my kids dinner, and I'll be making my wife smile. That's why they're bad with women, too. They just don't get out of the house enough. Nicholas Maid, yes, he's the former offensive coordinator for the Lions, and if you look at what he's done with the Lions, it's very impressive, but we can't just get too caught up in that, because in reality, he had a hell of a little that, I always say his name, Amon St. Ra. He's a wide receiver for the Lions. I mean, that cat is bad. And they have a couple other dudes and a tight end and a run. I mean, they're nasty. They play like the Bad News Bears. They play like a bunch of guys that are friends. And they go there knowing that they're talented enough to whoop yo, shut your mouth. You know what I mean? I like it. I'm impressed by it. I think they're like a reflection of their coach. And we all know their coach. Everyone knows the Lions coach because he's so demonstrative. He's huge. Everyone talks about how he could play right now, which, of course, that's obviously silly. He couldn't play right now. But to the eye, though, he looks like he could play right now. But anyway, if we pick up that offensive coordinator, that's not a guarantee that things are going to work. I like Jacoby Myers. I like what Jacoby Myers did last year. He set some records for himself. But let's talk about what goes beyond him. Okay, you got Ramel Caton. That's just a guy. Terrence Marshall Jr. is just a guy. And Trey Tucker, who we're still kind of 50-50 on him. Now, I like Trey Tucker. But at the same time, I don't know if I like him enough to accept that, hey, he's going to be a better player. He's going to keep growing. We heard all about how this last season that we just finished, that in the offseason prior to that he went to a wide receiver guru class, a personal trainer that's a former NFL player who basically says, come on, I'm going to put you through the motions. I'm going to train you specifically to a wide receiver. And there is science to that. A wide receiver runs differently than a running back. Running backs have to stay low, and they don't usually get to their top speed until they look around and they feel like they've made everyone miss, and then they hit the gas. A wide receiver style is totally different. They run a route tree, and then they look for the ball. And if it's there, they catch it, and they run in stride as fast as they can go, whether there's guys in front of them or not. So it's a different skill set, so therefore it's a different type of workouts and training. A lot of people don't know that, but it's very true. It's very fitness at that pro level is very specific. You want to power load, but you also want to get good cardio when you're talking about linemen or tight ends, especially if they're particularly big tight ends, get more to block, as opposed to a Brock Bowers, who you want to train more of an aerobic way so his muscles solidify and he gets striations and you can see all his buffness, but he doesn't gain size. Strain out that water weight. Don't take away his speed. Do you see what I'm saying? These are all I was a personal trainer for over 20 years. And these are all methods of how you would train a player at a specific position. Okay. The players we have on injury reserve right now are Jeff Foreman and DJ Turner. DJ Turner may have already won himself a position spot on the team next year, unless it comes down to something crucial and they really have just some amazing young kid that's on the roster and they're not sure about. I would say DJ Turner doesn't lose his spot to that guy. They'll probably be okay. Okay, last but not least, on the reserve future players list, we have Shedrick Jackson, Tyreek McAllister, and Christian Wilkerson. Now, I know almost everyone that's watching my show knows when they hear the name Tyreek McAllister that he showed us some stuff last year. And I'm old school. I go back to the 70s, 80s, and 90s of football. And in that era, players were allowed to be rookies while the older men played football and the younger men learned football from them, and then eventually the younger player, you hoped, would take the starting role from whatever position the older guy was playing when he came on the team. That's why players would get so mad when you draft their position, because it in effect is a quiet way of saying we want to be better where you're at, and we don't think you're going to be it. Because if they thought you were going to be it, they wouldn't waste a roster spot on someone that plays your position. See, so it's kind of a shot. That's why Kirk Cousins was so mad when he went to the Falcons, because they just lavished him, told him we love you, you're going to be the man, and blah, 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 blah. And then they bring in Penix Jr., the live-armed African-American speedster, and and then immediately, short time later, they benched Kirk for the kid. And the kid didn't play great, but he played good enough that they may rework Kirk Cousins' deal. And we might end up with that guy as a veteran throwing the rock for us. And I would welcome that warmly. I mean that seriously. In fact, I think that's a good idea to do even if we are going to go get the quarterback of the future. Go get your quarterback of the future. But then sign a guy like Kirk Cousins. Now Kirk can fight it. Just like we tried to do with Gardner Minshew and with AOC. It's the same principle. I don't think AOC is enough. We have to remember he's only going into his third season. One of those was his rookie year. Do you see what I mean? And it's all been through incredible turmoil. And yet again, playing in the mud and the confusion, the fog of war, and coaches being fired and rumors and players getting pissed and calling meetings, he still is growing as a quarterback. You could see it at the end of the season, those last 4 or 5 games. You could still see growth. So, we've got to be very careful what we do in this next move with AOC. We have to. Because when you guys saw Josh Jacobs go to Green Bay Packers, a lot of you got mad, and then you saw Josh Jacobs play, and a lot of you said, look, he's still got something left. Did any of you think Josh Jacobs looked like the Josh Jacobs we know with the Packers? Be honest. He looked good for Green Bay, but he didn't look like Raider Josh. He just didn't. He did not look like Raider Josh Jacobs. He just didn't. He had good plays. He ran well here and there, but there was never that breakout 40-yard run. He might have had one, but in all those games, he didn't have a 27-yard run around the edge, make a guy miss, stiff arm a guy. He didn't really have that. The passion doesn't look the same. Now, it's arguable that you could say that was a year of him just trying to get used to a new place, moving, getting a new home, moving everything he had up to Green Bay. And I put a lot of validity into that. I really do. Because next year, having known their system now better and them improving the team slightly, you never know. He may be that catalyst that finally pushes Green Bay over the top. I think he's that good a running back. I really do. Okay, so what we have currently in the quarterback situation, Aiden O'Connell, Carter Bradley, Desmond Ridder, and Gardner Minshew. But he was also put on injured reserve. It's unlikely that Gardner Minshew will be back. It's possible, but with all the turnover we're having, it just doesn't seem likely. Because when you come in as a GM, and I can say a new GM, because even though our president of operations, owner, Tom Brady, and we all know I keep calling him the GM because he's going to have so much say in it, but in reality it's just because him and Mark Davis are on the same page, and so he's going to get a lot of say in what happens. So having said all that, Gardner Minshew will be gone because he has a lucrative contract that you can just get out from under, pay him a couple bucks, and then go out and use that money to go after someone else. And that's where I love the Kirk Cousins comparison. And then you get rid of Desmond Ridder and you keep Carter Bradley. So you'd have Kirk Cousins, Aiden O'Connell, and Carter Bradley. So now you'd only be carrying 3 quarterbacks instead of 4, and that 4th quarterback money would go to the rookie when he comes in, and then if you ever need it, you get rid of Carter Bradley or Desmond Ridder. Done. And so we'll see that, and we're going to see all of this happen really soon. So Raider Nation, if you ever had a reason in the off season to get there's another Jesse Jackson moment. The reason in the off season. If you ever had a reason in the off season to get excited about what's coming up with the Raiders, even with the poor season we just had, we get to see a new coach, a new GM. We get to see a new direction for the team. Finally. Because I never felt like Josh McDaniels was a new direction for the team because he didn't know what direction he was going in. He had no respect from the players. He had no respect with personnel. He's just a moron. Put in butts in him. Go ahead, Tommy, give him one. But the point is, we're getting away finally from any attachments that have anything to do with the old Raiders. Now, is there something wrong with that? Like some of you might think, what are you doing? What do you mean get away from the old Raiders? I don't mean that in a way to be disrespectful, okay? I love the Raiders. I've made this very clear. It's in my DNA. So I'm not insulting the old Raiders, but what I'm saying is stop trying to remake their success by making leaders on the team that fit where Tatum was and Willie Brown and the guys on the defensive line and so on and so forth. We don't have to do that. They don't have to be Matuzak. You know what I mean? Howie Long's not walking through that door. Now, do we have skinny Howie Long right now? Yeah. But don't try to make someone else fit it. Make good roster decisions with those players in the draft and free agency and click them in at spots, and then you can recreate that kind of magic. And by the way, would anyone be impressed if you had the chance at Pete Carroll being the coach when we know he's not an offensive coordinator? A lot of people think of him as an offensive coordinator because he is innovative. His offenses, both in college and initially with the Seahawks, were very innovative. But he's actually a defensive guy. He wants to draw up how he's going to shut you down and then have a very good offensive coordinator. See, I love that. I love that. Now, the trend right now is bring in an offensive-minded coordinator to run your team so that your offense takes off and you're the new age NFL where everything is faster and you know what I mean? There's no proof that template really works. There's not. All right. Now, I've just got a few minutes left in the show, but I want to... Okay, there we go. I want to pull up my list here of peeps at GM because I had someone I was pretty interested in. Let me see if I can get this to come up. Okay, there we go. Now, the former GM assistant, Brian Gain of the Buffalo Bills. He is the assistant GM for the Buffalo Bills. We know what the Buffalo Bills have been now for the last 4 or 5 years. They're very competitive. They field a good offense, a good defense, and they chose a quarterback that's probably going to be there for the next 10 years and will end up in their Ring of Honor at some point. So I kind of like that. He's bringing experience to the game. I checked it out. Here you go. He was with the Texans for 2 years. That was when he started building the model of the Texans that started winning. Then he went south in his relationship with head coach Bill O'Brien, who Bill O'Brien was the coach of the Texans that got fired. But this was him, trying to protect his job, firing his assistant GM. But he built a good roster and has helped Brandon Beane to do it again with the Bills. So you got to love what we're hearing about the guy. He has experience. He has a track record. He has a resume. Good stuff. I would love to see Brian Gaine of the Buffalo Bills. I think that would be wise. Now, before any of you laugh and start making jokes, Reggie McKenzie is still out there. As early as 2019 until now, he's been working with the Miami Dolphins. So I think until like last year, I think he's free right now. So just these last few years since 2019, he has been working as the GM with the Dolphins. And wouldn't you say the Dolphins have a pretty good roster? I'm not trying to talk you to Reggie McKenzie. I can feel people typing right now. Are you serious? Reggie McKenzie, Bear? I'm not suggesting that. I'm just simply saying I thought it was funny that I saw his name available. Let's see, Mr. Bear, do you think that Mr. Jacobs lost some of his passion because of how he was treated at the Raiders? Tommy, I don't think he lost his passion. I think he lost where he wanted to be. It's like a girlfriend dumping you instead of you dumping her. If a guy dumps a girlfriend, he's sad about it because he doesn't want to hurt the girl's feelings. He just doesn't want to be in the relationship anymore. But when a girl dumps a guy, that hurts. And you carry it with you as a guy because you think, what did I do wrong? You know what I mean? And you never know because a lot of women won't even tell you what you did wrong. They'll just say, no, I don't want to do that. It's over, blah, blah, blah. I met this guy named Tom Brady. Appreciate you, Stephen Shaw. I'm probably wrong, but to me, the stain on Pete Carroll will always be that Super Bowl where it was goal to go from the 2-yard line. He screwed Marshawn Lynch. I remember. And Jim, on the play prior to that, he ran for like a 15-yard gain to inside the 5. And then at that moment was when they made that decision. After he had just had a run he ripped off for like 15 yards. And he was smashing guys on that same drive. But you don't let him finish because Pete Carroll didn't want his face on the Wheaties box. He wanted it to be Russell Wilson. And that was the mistake. He started to try to craft football. I'm not even going to go into race because both guys are black, but he started to craft promotion and marketing while still having not yet scored the touchdown that this is all based on. And then you call a 1-yard pass play to a soft wide receiver who gets punched in the mouth and outfights, the safety for the Patriots outfights him for the ball. So, that was outrageous, but I don't know if that's a reason to withhold. I don't know if that's a reason to withhold him potentially as a coach, especially when you remember, Jim, I'm telling you, he just had a real long second day, third day interview with the Raiders. That's not, that's not a little thing. And I'll be honest with you, too. They probably only brought him in to do due diligence. In other words, just go through the motions, say, interview a black potential, coach, and then, of course, you're not going to hire him. And then once you've gotten past like 2 or 3, interviews, and you've had a black coach, your 4th or 5th, now you can just go, okay, we're giving the job to that guy. And you got to understand, Pete Carroll knocked their socks off. Or he would have never been there for day 2. Do you see what I'm saying? Okay, there, sorry. We got to pump the brakes on this idea that Ben Johnson, though, is the absolute answer, and that's it. Pete Carroll could be a great answer. His interview went super well to the point where they had him back for day 2. So when you have that happen, you got to get back in there. John Leon, sorry about that. I saw you saying the sound was off, and I fixed it. Thank you. Hope that wasn't too long. McIdiot interviewed well. I knocked the socks off. Well, okay, Jim Vanderlyn, I'll be honest with you. That's what we were told he did. I don't know if I believe that. Because if you really think about it, almost every owner to a GM in those meetings says, oh, he just blew us away. They're almost expected to say that. So how do we know if there's differential? I just feel like sometimes the way the interview went, the look on the owner and that coach tells you a lot. If that coach is smiling ear to ear at that press conference, we might have something. If he's just being professional and holding a shirt up in the air with his last name on it, maybe not. I just think there's little tells like that. It's not always what you say, it's what you do, both with your physical actions and your body language. And I think we need to watch, and it's going to be very soon. We know it's going to be in the next couple weeks, but the moment we get this head coach situation hammered out and the GM hammered out, it's going to be incredibly intense because we're going to have a lot of interviews. We're going to have a lot of interviews where they're talking about their philosophies and why they think this is going to work, and it's going to be great. And I can't wait to just touch on all of it and give you a big sound bite on that. Yep, got you, Anna. And then also the McIdiot era, Jim. I mean, obviously, we all knew that wasn't going to go anywhere. There were those of us, including me, who wanted to at least give him a chance, but only because he'd already gotten the job. I never wanted him to get the job. I never thought he should have gotten the job. But then once he did, I tried to get on board like a good Raider fan, but, you could just see he's an idiot. He can't make in-game adjustments. You know what he is? And let's just be honest. I'm sorry. I know this might sound mean to people, but it's just the truth. We all know that one guy when we were all in high school, or probably even before that, junior high school, grade school, that, everyone just thought was kind of a dork. You know what I mean? Now, that doesn't excuse being a bully toward them or anything. I was never like that. I used to make friends out of dorks because I never liked people treating them like they weren't cool. And because I was always considered cool, then I would go embrace those guys. I would take them in my car and take them to school when we were in high school, and they would get out of my car and people would stare at me like, what the hell? They would. I actually had a couple of people that were supposed to be cool people that looked at me and said, "It's so nice of you, man, to give a ride to them that one time just to get him to school." I'm like, no, I take him to school every time I see him. If I pass him on the street and he's already walking to school ahead of me, I stop and pick him up. Okay, snooty Bia. I don't do that. Okay, so let's move on. I was just joking about Reggie McKenzie. Now, Matt Groh, the New England Patriots Director of Player Personnel. I don't like that one. It's on the list, but I don't like that one. Matt Groh, to me, I don't think he really showed anything. I don't really like any of what happened with the Patriots that doesn't involve Tom Brady. And I'm being serious. Or did we all just watch him with that franchise for like 20 years, and then they always won with him, and then the moment he left, they couldn't find a quarterback. They tried 3 different drafts. They couldn't get their defense right. Their coach is supposed to be the defensive legend, Bill Belichick. BS. I call it. I write it down. I made a picture of it, signed it, used some wax, shut it, and mailed it to him. Someone help me spell that. Well, see, Anna, you get what I'm saying. The guy was a dork. And now you know what happens. When the guy gets labeled a dork, what happens is they lose their self-confidence, which is ridiculous. It's called self-confidence. You simpleton. Okay? I never let nicknames or when people were calling me things when I was younger, I never ate that kind of stuff. You just got to pick your chin up and move on. If you love what you're doing, if your parents raised you right, then when you love yourself, it's because you believe in yourself. And then if you carry yourself the right way before God, you have a life like mine where you meet beautiful women, you have nice things, you make lots of money, you have great dogs, you have great kids, and you get to pass away knowing your parents are proud of you. La raza. All right, Alexa, resume. Can't top that. All right, that's my show. Much love, women. I can top that. I forgot to show you guys my truck. Isn't that dope? And yes, it works. This isn't just some model. Look at the antenna. Look. Oh! R8RBEAR! I love this. I got this as a gift from one of my viewers. It's dope, isn't it? And it's got the original Oakland. Yeah, that's right. This is before Vegas was even a thought, baby. Oh, don't forget, I have size 8 lids. If you're a size 8, you should inbox me. I got what's up. They're brand new. As you can see, size 8s. Proceeds are going to the underprivileged, the homeless, and so on. Peace. Love you guys. I'll see you tomorrow. R8RBEAR family page.